So last Tuesday, I picked up my son from daycare at 5:45 p.m. I walked in. He was across the room, playing with blocks. He looked up, saw me, and for one beautiful second, I thought he was going to run toward me with his arms wide open. Yeah, no. He looked me dead in the eyes, turned back to his blocks, and said, "You're late." He's 3. I know I'm late. I had a 4 o'clock meeting that became a 5 o'clock call that became a "can you just send me that file real quick" situation that turned into me sprinting to my car at 5:27. I know. But here's the part that really got me. On the drive home, in the back seat, he goes, "Mommy, did you even think about me today?" And my heart just fell out of my chest and onto the car floor. Did I think about him today? I thought about him when I was writing that email at 9 a.m. and realized I forgot to pack his snack. I thought about him at noon when I ate lunch at my desk, so I could leave 20 minutes earlier. I thought about him at 3 when another parent posted on Facebook about their homemade sensory bins, and I spiraled for a solid 14 minutes. I thought about him every single minute of every single hour. But in that back seat, with that little face looking at me in the rearview mirror, all I could say was, "Of course I did, buddy," every second. And then I spent the rest of the drive home, completely convinced I was somehow ruining him. Okay, if anything I just said landed for you, if you felt that specific flavor of Tuesday evening guilt, this episode is for you. Today, we're talking about the working parent guilt trip, the one you take in your own head every single day. And more importantly, we're talking about what the neuroscience actually says. Because spoiler alert, it's not what that voice in your head keeps telling you. Let's get into it. All right, let me tell you what I hear all the time from other working parents. And I mean all the time. I just feel like I'm missing it. She's growing up so fast, and I'm at work. What if not being there is going to mess him up? Am I choosing my career over my kid? Real talk. I've said every single one of those things, usually at around 2 a.m. when I should be sleeping. But instead, I'm lying there running a full internal audit of every parenting decision I've ever made. And here's the thing. The guilt isn't random. It comes from somewhere real. It comes from love, from caring so much that the idea of falling short feels unbearable. But here's what I need you to hear. The thing your guilt brain keeps telling you, that more time equals more love equals better outcomes, that's not what the research says, like, at all. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why. Okay, so let's start with how your kid's brain actually develops. Because once you understand this, everything starts to look different. Here's what most parents imagine, that their child's brain is like a recording device, running 24/7, capturing every moment. And the more moments you're there for, the richer the recording. So logically, if you're at work for 8 hours, you just missed 8 hours of recording time, right? Except that's not how brains work at all. Your child's brain isn't a recording device. It's more like a construction site. And construction doesn't happen by accumulating time. It happens through specific moments, specific connections, specific kinds of interaction. Let me explain what I mean. Neuroscientists have this phrase they use a lot: serve and return. It sounds like tennis because it kind of is like tennis. Your baby babbles. You babble back. Your toddler points at something. You say, "Oh, the dog. Yeah, look at the dog." Your kid makes a face. You make a face back. That back and forth, that serve and return exchange, every single time it happens, your kid's brain literally builds new neural connections, new synapses, new pathways. And here's the key thing. Quality beats quantity. Every time. Harvard's Center on the Developing Child has studied this extensively. 15 minutes of real, engaged, put down your phone. Serve and return interaction does more for your child's prefrontal cortex development than hours of passive together time, where you're in the same room but both zoned out. Let me say that again. differently. 8 hours on the couch next to each other while you scroll, and they watch TV? Minimal developmental impact. 15 minutes of true, locked in, eye-to-eye, genuinely interested in what you're saying interaction. That's the stuff synapses are built from. Your brain doesn't remember every hour. It remembers every connection. And guess what? You can do that. Working parent or not, you absolutely can do that. All right, there's something else I have to tell you. And this one's actually really good news. Working parents, your kids are statistically doing okay. Better than okay. In a lot of ways. A Harvard Business School study followed thousands of adults who were raised by working mothers. The results? Children of working mothers tend to show higher levels of academic achievement and economic independence. Daughters of working mothers are more likely to be employed, earn higher wages, and hold supervisory roles. Sons are more likely to contribute to childcare and domestic responsibilities later in life. Now, does that mean you have to work? Obviously not. This isn't about judging stay-at-home parents. That's its own incredible, exhausting, wildly undervalued thing. But if you are working, the research is not against you. It is not indicting you. In a lot of ways, it's backing you up. Your kid is watching you every day. They see you problem solve. They see you navigate hard things. They see you be a full person with a life outside of them. And that's a map. You are drawing your kid a map of what adult life looks like, what women are capable of, what perseverance looks like in practice. They'll use that map for the rest of their lives. Okay, so here's where we need to get real honest for a second, because I want to talk about the guilt itself, not what causes it, the actual feeling. What it does to your body, what it does to your brain, because this is the part that nobody talks about. And it's actually kind of important. When you feel guilt, your body releases cortisol. That's the stress hormone. And cortisol is contagious. I don't mean that metaphorically. I mean it literally, biologically, neurologically. Your kid's brain has mirror neurons. They're basically tiny empathy sensors, and their job is to detect and replicate the emotional state of the people around them. So when you walk into that daycare pickup, radiating stress and guilt and "I'm so sorry I wasn't here enough" energy, your kid's amygdala picks it up instantly. Before you say a single word, their mirror neurons fire, their cortisol spikes, their stress response activates. And now you've got a stressed out parent handing over guilt vibes to a child who has absolutely zero context for why mom looks like she's about to cry. So what does the kid do with that? They have no idea what caused it. So their brain does what brains do. It fills in the blank with the nearest available explanation. And to a 3-year-old, the nearest explanation is always, "It must be me. Something I did. Something I am." Here's the cruel twist. The guilt you feel because you love your kid so much. The guilt that comes from wanting to be more present and more available. That guilt expressed in your body language and your face, and your energy when you walk in the door, that can actually do the very thing you were afraid of. Not because you weren't there enough, because you arrived carrying too much shame about not being there enough. I know. That feels deeply unfair, but understanding it changes everything. So let's talk about what to do instead, because this isn't a wallow in more guilt podcast. We're here for solutions, real ones. Here's what I want you to replace the guilt with. Something I call the welcome arrival. Right now, a lot of us walk into pickup in apology mode. Shoulders tight, rushing. Already explaining, "I know I'm a little late. Traffic was terrible. I'm sorry, how was your day? Did you eat? Are you okay? I'm sorry. What would it look like to walk in like you just got the greatest news of your entire day? Because here's the thing. Your kid doesn't need your apology. Their amygdala doesn't process words that well anyway. Remember our friend, the security guard from last episode? He doesn't speak in sentences. He speaks in feelings. He wants to know one thing. Is this safe? Is this good? Are we okay? So instead of, I'm sorry I'm late, how was your day? Try this. You walk in, you scan the room, you find your kid, and the second they see you, your face lights up. Not fake, not performed, real. Because you genuinely are glad to see them. You've been thinking about this moment all day. Let that show. Let your whole face say, there you are. I've been waiting for you. Get down to their level. Make eye contact. And before you ask a single question, before you explain anything, you say, I've been thinking about you all day. I am so happy I get to see your face right now. That's it. That's the whole thing. Not, how was your day? Not an apology. Not a debrief. Just a declaration. Their mirror neurons pick it up immediately. Their cortisol drops. Their oxytocin goes up. And their security guard goes, oh, good. We're safe. She's happy. We're okay. The whole neurochemical environment shifts in about 4 seconds with 12 words. Okay, now let's talk about the 15-minute golden window. I want you to think of the first 15 minutes after pickup as sacred time. Off-limits time. No phone. No asking about their day. No launching into dinner logistics. No multitasking. Just connection. Whatever that looks like for your kid. Some kids want physical contact. They want to be held or sit in your lap or have their hair touched. If that's your kid, let them lead. Follow their cues. Just be a safe, warm, present body for 15 minutes. Some kids want to play. They want you on the floor, in their world, playing by their rules. If that's your kid, get on the floor. Even if you're still in your work clothes, even if it's slightly undignified, get on the floor. Some kids want to show you something. Every detail of what they made, what they did, what happened, they need a witness. If that's your kid, be the best witness you've ever been. Wait, tell me more about that. What did it look like? What did it feel like? Notice what I didn't say. I didn't say to ask, how was your day? Here's the thing about that question. To a toddler, how was your day? Is basically asking them to do a retrospective analysis of a 6-hour period. Their prefrontal cortex is, well, on vacation until they're 25. Instead, try something more specific. What was the funniest thing that happened today? Or, did anything make you feel big feelings today? Or even just, can you show me your favorite thing you did today? Specific questions open doors. Generic questions get fine and a shrug. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. I have 2 kids and a baby, and my partner works evenings, and dinner doesn't cook itself, and 15 minutes feels impossible. Fair. Completely fair. Here's what I want you to know. 5 minutes of genuine, deep, fully present connection is not nothing. 5 minutes where your eyes are on them, your phone is in your bag, and your whole body says, you are the only thing that exists to me right now. That registers in their brain, in their nervous system, in the neural pathways you're building together. You're not failing because you can't give 15 minutes. You're showing up because you give 5. There's one more thing I want to leave you with, and this one I need you to really hear. Your child doesn't need a parent who sacrifices everything, who runs themselves into the ground, who shows up exhausted and depleted and spent, but technically present. They need a parent who shows them what it looks like to be a whole person. They need to see you do something that matters to you. They need to see you be good at something. They need to watch you work hard, come home, and still choose to be present with them. That's not selfishness. That's modeling. Because one day, your kid is going to be an adult. They're going to have to build a life, navigate work and love and family and all of it. And they'll do it based on the blueprint they saw you build first. So the parent who comes home, having done meaningful work, who walks in that door genuinely happy to be home, who sits on the floor for 15 minutes and actually plays. That's the blueprint. That's the thing that stays with them. Not how many hours you logged at home. Not whether you made a homemade sensory bin or ordered pizza. Not whether you were at every single pickup or had to ask a grandparent to fill in twice this week. The warmth, the presence, the I see you and I love being your parent. That's what their brain is building on. Okay, real talk for a second. You are not a bad parent. I know you know that intellectually, but some part of you at 2 a.m. isn't sure. So I'm going to say it again. You are not a bad parent. You are a working adult raising a small human who has a paranoid security guard for a brain and no CEO until 2045. You are doing something genuinely hard every single day. And the fact that you care this much, the fact that you're watching a parenting podcast at whatever time you're watching this, the fact that you feel the guilt at all, that is the love. That guilt is just love that hasn't found its channel yet. So here's your new assignment. Starting today, just one thing. Replace one apology with a declaration. Not, I'm sorry I'm late, but I've been thinking about you all day. I am so happy I get to see you. That's it. That's your homework, because your kid's amygdala doesn't need your apology. It needs your warmth. And those are not the same thing. All right, if this hit you anywhere useful today, do me a favor and smash that subscribe button. Ring the bell, leave a comment. And here's what I want to hear from you specifically. What does your pickup moment usually look like? And what's one thing you're going to try this week? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And I promise, whatever you write, you're going to find 50 other parents who just whispered, same. You're not alone in this. Not even close. Next week, we're diving into Cebro 1 episode of 3, The Spirited Brain. If you've got a kid who is what we lovingly call a lot, who feels everything at full volume, who goes from 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds, who has been described by their daycare teacher as very enthusiastic. That one is going to be everything. But until then, take a breath. Walk in that door with your face lit up. Get on the floor for 5 minutes. You're doing better than you think you are. See you next week.